A quiet evening turns into a nightmare when a racist cop pulls a gun on Shaq O'Neal's daughter during a traffic stop. Minutes later, his career crashes and burns. Comment below where you're watching from and hit subscribe to catch more stories like this. The sun was dipping below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over Los Angeles. Mia O'Neal, a 25-year-old college student and the daughter of NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, cruised her silver Mercedes down a quiet street in Beverly Hills. She just left campus after a long day of lectures and group projects, her mind buzzing with thoughts of a history paper due next week. The car's leather seats felt soft under her, and she hummed along to a hip-hop beat playing low on the radio. Life was good, busy but good. Suddenly red and blue lights flashed in her rearview mirror. Mia's stomach tightened but she stayed calm. She wasn't speeding and she knew the route well. Still, as a black woman driving a luxury car in this upscale neighborhood, she'd learned to expect scrutiny. She signaled and pulled over near a row of tall palm trees, the street quiet except for a couple of joggers in the distance and a gardener trimming hedges across the way. Mia reached for her phone and started recording, setting it on the passenger seat. She didn't think this would blow up, but she'd heard too many stories. Better safe than sorry. The patrol car door creaked open and Officer Derek Hayes stepped out. He was in his early 50s, tall and broad-shouldered, with a stern face that looked like it hadn't smiled in years. His uniform was pressed, his badge gleamed, and his hand hovered near his gun holster. He walked toward her window with slow, deliberate steps, his boots thudding against the pavement. Mia rolled down her window halfway. "Good evening, officer." "What's going on?" she asked, her voice steady. Hayes leaned down, peering into the car. "License and registration," he said, his tone flat and cold, like he was bored but ready for a fight. Mia nodded. "Okay. They're in my purse. I'll reach for them slowly, all right?" She moved with care, unzipping her bag and pulling out her wallet. She handed over the documents, her fingers brushing the edge of the leather. Hayes snatched them without a thank you, his eyes darting from her face to the car's interior, then back to her. She wore a casual hoodie and jeans, but the Mercedes and her calm demeanor seemed to irk him. He flipped through her license, reading aloud, "Mia O'Neal." His brows furrowed slightly. "You live around here?" "Yes, sir." "Just a few blocks that way," she said, pointing down the street. Hayes raised an eyebrow, his lips curling into a faint smirk. "A few blocks? What's a girl like you doing in a car like this? This neighborhood's not cheap." Mia felt a flicker of annoyance but kept her cool. "I'm heading home from school. Is there a problem with that?" Hayes' smirk grew. "You didn't signal at that last turn." "I'm checking to make sure everything's legal." Mia frowned. She was certain she'd used her turn signal. Her dad had drilled safe driving into her since she was 16. "I think I did signal, but if I missed it, I apologize. Can we handle this quickly?" Hayes didn't respond. He stepped back, still clutching her papers, and strolled to his patrol car. Mia watched him go, her pulse quickening. She'd met cops like this before, men who seemed to enjoy throwing their weight around. She glanced at her phone, the red recording light blinking, and took a deep breath to steady herself. Inside his cruiser, Hayes sat staring at her license. The name O'Neal nagged at him. He'd heard it somewhere, basketball maybe? But he brushed it off. To him, she was just another young black woman in a car that didn't match his idea of her place. He'd been on the force for 25 years, proud of his no-nonsense reputation. He didn't tolerate backtalk or people who acted like they were above him. Mia's calm attitude rubbed him the wrong way. Most folks got jittery when he pulled them over, but she sat there like she owned the road. He typed her name into his computer. The screen showed no criminal record, just a clean slate. But his gut told him something was off. He grabbed his radio. "Unit 14, routine traffic stop. No backup needed," he said gruffly. "Copy that, Unit 14, the dispatcher replied. Hayes leaned back, tapping his fingers on the wheel. He didn't have much evidence, but he wasn't ready to let her off. He wanted to see her sweat. After a few minutes, he stepped out again, walking back with an even slower, more deliberate pace, his hand brushing his holster. Mia turned as he approached. "Is everything okay, officer?" Hayes leaned down, resting his hands on the car door frame. "Where you coming from?" he asked, his voice sharp now. "School," she said, keeping it short. He tilted his head, eyeing her. "School, huh? You don't look like you fit here. This area's for people with money, real money." Mia's jaw tightened. "I have money. My dad works hard for it. Can I have my papers back now?" Hayes' smirk vanished. "Watch your tone, girl. You're making this harder than it needs to be." Mia took a slow breath. "I'm just asking for what's mine. I haven't broken any laws. Hayes's hand moved closer to his gun. Step out of the car, he ordered, his voice rising. Mia blinked, confusion mixing with unease. What? What did I do? Step out now, he barked. She stayed put, her heart pounding but her face calm. I'd like to know the reason first, please. Hayes's face darkened. You're refusing to comply. That's enough reason. Before she could react, his hand gripped his holster and pulled out his gun, pointing it at her through the window. Mia's breath caught, a cold wave hitting her. Gasps erupted from the joggers and the gardener, who had stopped to stare. A woman yelled, "What's he doing?" A man across the street pulled out his phone, recording. The street, once peaceful, exploded into chaos. You just made a huge mistake, Mia said, her voice steady despite the fear. She lifted her phone, showing the live stream. Everyone's watching this. Hayes's eyes widened, but he kept the gun raised, his breathing uneven. The crowd grew. Neighbors stepped onto porches, phones up, voices shouting. He hadn't planned for this, but backing down now felt like weakness. Then a sharp voice cut through. Officer Hayes. Stand down. Now. It was Sergeant Lisa Carter, Hayes's supervisor, rushing from a patrol car that had just pulled up. Her face was flushed with anger, her uniform crisp but her stance ready. Hayes froze, the gun still in hand. Carter stormed closer. Lower your weapon, Hayes. That's an order. The crowd murmured, some yelling. He's out of control. Hayes's hand trembled, but he slowly lowered the gun, sliding it back into his holster with a shaky breath. Carter turned to Mia. Ma'am, are you all right? Mia nodded, her hands shaking but her voice firm. I want my papers back. Carter glared at Hayes. Give them to her. Now. Hayes fumbled, tossing the license and registration onto the dashboard like they were nothing. His face was pale, the weight of his actions sinking in. Carter spoke into her radio. Dispatch, notify internal affairs. Officer Hayes is on administrative leave, effective immediately. Hayes's mouth opened, but no words came. Carter held out her hand. Badge and gun, Hayes. With trembling fingers, he unclipped his holster and unpinned his badge, handing them over. The crowd watched as his career ended on the spot. He turned and shuffled to his car, head down, avoiding the cameras. Carter turned to Mia. Do you want to press charges? Mia paused, thinking of the time she'd let things slide. Not this time. Yes, she said firmly. He needs to face this. Carter nodded. We'll take it from here. I'm sorry this happened. Mia drove home, her phone buzzing nonstop. The video was spreading like wildfire. By the time she reached her dad's mansion, Shaq was waiting at the door, his massive frame tense with worry. Mia, you okay, baby? He asked, pulling her into a bear hug. I'm fine, Dad, she said, showing him the video. It's all over the place. Shaq's eyes narrowed. That cop's finished. I'm calling my lawyer in the league. This ain't right. Inside, the house buzzed with activity. Shaq's wife, Shawnee, rushed over, hugging Mia tight. We saw it live. Are you hurt? I'm okay, Mom, Mia said, forcing a smile. Her younger brother, Sharif, paced the room, furious. That guy's a clown. He's done. Shaq grabbed his phone, dialing his attorney. This is personal now. My daughter? No way. The call ended and he turned to Mia. They're on it. The police chief's getting heat already. By midnight, the story was everywhere. Cop pulls gun on Shaq O'Neal's daughter, topped news feeds. The video showed Hayes's error, threatening an unarmed woman, Shaq's daughter, with no cause. Social media erupted, fans demanding justice. The police department, under pressure from Shaq's team and public outrage, fired Hayes within hours. A statement came at dawn. Officer Derek Hayes is terminated for misconduct. Mia sat with her family, the tension easing. She'd stood tall and the world had backed her. Shaq put an arm around her. You did good, kid. Proud of you. The next day, Mia spoke to reporters outside the house, her voice clear. This isn't just about me. It's about everyone who's been targeted. We need change. The story spread, a lesson in accountability. Hayes lost his job, his reputation, and his pride. Mia became a voice for others, proving that no badge can shield bad actions. If you believe in justice, share this story. Subscribe for more tales of courage and truth.